Do not adjust your tracking. You are now listening to the VHS Saturday podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of VHS Saturday, the show where we discuss the strange and unusual, odd and obscure VHS tapes that we obtain through thrift, gift, and grift. My name is Henry.
And I'm Allison.
And this week, we are on another week of Dawgust. We took last week off for various reasons, and we're back.
Again.
Yes. Or bark again. God. That was terrible.
Yeah, Henry had finals last week and it was pretty crazy, so we just did not have the time to record, so apologies for that. But we are continuing with Dawgust. So here we are this week. We are discussing the sub-genre of dog movie. Magic dogs. Super dogs. Basically dogs that have
some sort of life-altering superpower of some sort.
Yeah.
And we were gonna do like a boy and his dog, but that genre is way too vast because that's actually the majority of dog movies. Even ones that fall under sports dog and cop dog, they all actually kind of are a boy and his dog.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the like pure boy and his dog movies are just really sad.
Yeah, okay, so here's the thing, right? Alice and I are both cat people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I mentioned it before, but even growing up, I saw these dog movies and I was like, why would I want to watch that? I was like, fuck these dog movies. And this experiment has like solidified to me, fuck these dog movies. But I just gotta ask all the dog people that love these dog movies, why?
Because people see dog and they're like, yay, dog.
No, I get that, but why does a dog always gotta die?
Yeah, so
a dog always gets shot, he dies, or almost dies, or anything. Like, it's like, can we just like love the dog, please? Like, can we just love the fucking dog?
Yeah, that's a really common thing that, like, as we've taken this journey, we've noticed that, like...
That's the number one trope.
Yeah. And, I mean, we're all aware of that website, like, Does the Dog Die? Or something, where, like, you can look up a movie and see, one, is there a dog in it? And two, is the dog gonna be okay? Because we probably all went through it where... as kids or something growing up watching movies, adults were like, okay, let's get the dog movie for the kids. And inevitably the dog gets hurt or dies or something. And it
traumatizes the kid.
Yeah.
And they just kept cranking these fucking movies out.
So now, like, that kind of like conditioned us where we're like prepared in advance. We're like, okay, is there a dog in the movie?
Like, I remember when I was looking up information on K9 and some of the like Google like auto fill in like results was like, does the dog die in K9? And it's like, really?
We're all desperate to know, is the dog okay? And the answer most of the time is no. Most of the time the dog is not okay.
And if it's a Disney movie, there's a chance it really wasn't okay. Let's be fucking real.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
Does the dog die in the movie? And if it's a Disney movie, does the dog die in real life because it's fucking Disney and people still love Disney for some godly reason?
So the thing about like Disney dog movies is like one of the parents is dead, and so the dog becomes like a replacement for the parent.
It's always a dead parent too.
Yeah.
It's not even just, oh, we're divorced. No, the parent's dead.
Yeah.
Someone's dead.
Speaking of dogs replacing dead parents, so this week we're focusing specifically on two movies because we felt these two movies encompassed like the sub-genre of Magic Dog, just kind of like...
Well, it's because we thought the Magic Dog genre was much grander than it was, but no, it's not. And it turns out to be even less grand than what we thought based off of...
To clarify, the Magic Dog genre really kind of took off post VHS.
It did.
You can
it
find
is a thing.
a lot of like more Magic Dog movies in like the DVD era.
Yeah.
In terms of VH, and I think that's where we got confused.
Right, because in like
more.
when we were like teenagers and adults, the genre of dog movies has shifted from sports dogs into magic dogs.
Yeah, or like dogs just kind of doing things that dogs should not do, even beyond sports. And I mean, you know, we can mostly focus on the Buddies movies because there's so many of them, they just kind of dilute the whole dog movie genre in like the DVD era anyway. And those dogs do everything, but it's mostly like, you know, things that dogs can't normally do, like going to space or, you know, surviving in the snow.
Yeah. That's a thing.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode. Moving right along.
Yeah. So magic dogs, magic dogs.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the magic dogs. We got my magic dog.
Yeah,
right.
Classic. I feel like a lot of just bad movie fans are aware of
Familiar
my
with
magic
this
dog.
one. Yeah. It had a charm to it.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to be discussing a movie that I picked up on VHS. I don't remember where the fuck I got this.
I feel like we got it at a thrift store or something.
Yeah. We picked up this VHS in the year 2020/2021 at a thrift store. Yes, Allison, tell me more about that.
Wow, okay. Yeah, we found it. We obtained it through Thrift Gift or Grift somehow.
One of those.
As we do. And it's called Daniel and the Superdogs. And
I was assuming we were gonna get like a Wonder Dog-esque kind of scenario, like a super dog.
But
and
like that movie was like the ultimate fucking bait and switch because it is nothing like we expected. I would say there's nothing super about these dogs at all.
Well, we'll find when we discuss it, we'll find out why it's called Daniel and the Superdogs.
Yeah.
Now, if you're Canadian, you might know what we're talking about when we say Daniel and the Superdogs. But I'm American, and
I never heard of this shit.
Right. So what were we gonna talk about? What should we talk about first? We talk about my magic dog?
I think my magic dog has been covered a lot.
Right.
So we can just kind of like
we'll run through it real quick, right? Mm-hmm. So my magic dog, it's very, very low budget, very hokey. You know what you're getting into when you get it. If you've seen this like My Invisible Dad movie and stuff, that's by the same guy.
Yeah.
Or My Invisible Mom.
Yeah, remember in the I think it was the Magic Bubble episode, we talked about how for Mother's Day we were going to cover Invisible Mom, but
we got 45 minutes into it. We got 45 minutes into My Invisible Mom, and the mom was very visible still.
Yeah, she wasn't even invisible yet, and so we were like, "Fuck this." So we watched my Magic Bubble. we watched Magic Bubble instead, and I'm so glad we watched that because that movie was insane. But yeah, so like we discussed the like invisible blank universe that like this one guy just like discovered this trick where he could just make shit look invisible and decided I'm gonna make a whole bunch of fucking movies like that.
Bless him. So
he also created this fucking my magic dog, which also goes by my ghost dog. There's kind of like, I don't know if it's like A/B testing, like why.
Right.
But basically the story is that like there's this kid who there's a boy and his dog.
And his mom dies.
Of course.
And he's with his stepdad. So his biological dad is dead too.
Or just, I mean, it must be because there's a custody battle
between him and his but between the stepdad and the aunt.
Yeah.
And like the dad must have died fairly early on because this is a stepdad, but this kid and his dad have a very much not a stepdad kind of bond.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
he's very much treated like, no, I'm fighting for custody of my son.
Right.
And, you know, it reminds me of like my relationship a bit with my stepdad, who's been there since I was like a year old, where it's
Mhm.
like, as far as I'm fucking concerned, he's my dad,
Right.
you know? So, it's one of those scenarios where like, and so the mom is dead and it's been 2 years and they're looking for the will and testament. I don't know why I waited 2 years.
Yeah, the story is kind of like ridiculous. Like they find the will in this box in the garage and they open it by like hitting it with a baseball bat.
Instead of picking the lock or just cutting
Yeah.
the lock.
Cuz I don't know, there's some kind of like the kid is getting some kind of inheritance.
It's the kid's getting some kind of inheritance, and the mom, I'm assuming, had discussed it with the dad, but like, you know, it's not legally binding without paperwork, right?
Yeah, or like they knew that the papers were somewhere, but
yeah.
they couldn't find them.
So then they do find him, and then the aunt shows up, and the aunt's trying to get custody, and she knows she needs that will and testament, so she hires.
Because she wants the inheritance. She doesn't even really care about the kid.
Right.
She's like very Cruella de Vil kind of woman.
Yes.
Like her acting is so fucking hokey and
I
over
could
the
tell
top.
that the director was like, ham it up more.
Yeah.
More. Margaret. I don't know if her name is Margaret. Margaret. More cheesy. This is a children's film. We need to really drill it in. You're the bad guy. You know, kids are stupid. Like, so I mean, it's a fairly enjoyable film. If like you're into like if you have the right expectation, it's enjoyable.
It's definitely so bad it's good. It's just over the top with how fucking stupid it is. And
Right.
like
It doesn't take itself too serious.
yeah, and honestly, when I'm watching a movie about a fucking magic dog, yeah, I don't want it to take itself seriously.
Right. And so, and that's why it makes it enjoyable, because it's like, okay, they're in on the joke. Except from the camera angles, they were like wacky and stuff. It's like, okay, they weren't taking this seriously either. So the fact that it's bad is fine.
Yeah.
You know?
So basically, like this kid, he
He moves in.
Toby.
They just moved into a new place, and he's really into magic.
Yeah. And like he has a dog and Lucky, and like
Who's not so lucky.
Lucky gets hit by a car and literally like dies in Toby's arms. But then Lucky comes back to life as like, I guess like an invisible dog that like only Toby can see him. But like he can interact with things in the real world. Like he can pick up things
Objects
and
stuff.
yeah.
Like that. So he's almost like an invisible dog and not like a ghost dog.
Yeah. Yeah, he's more like, because when I was remembering this movie, I
thought
it was called
My
Invisible
Dog. Yeah.
Mostly because there's, you know, Invisible Dad, Invisible Mom, and all that shit. There was an invisible dog in Invisible Dad because the
you
dad,
got that mixed up.
Yeah.
You're like, no, the dog was invisible because it's the scientist. I was like, no.
Yeah, no,
That's-
the invisible dad was a scientist and he was testing out his invisibility potion on the dog, and then the dog was invisible for just like a short while. So then the dad knows it works, and then he drinks the potion and becomes the invisible dad, and then hilarity ensues, and that's the rest of the movie. But like with my magic dog, the dog is invisible, but he's like a ghost, I guess, because he's dead. And so like Toby has these like bullies, and the aunt like hires the bullies to like
break into the house and try to find the paperwork.
Yeah, the way she's like the gray box. She says it like that. I don't know why. Just ham.
I
Dare I say Canadian bacon? Because
I don't remember the rest of the movie after that.
Okay, so they
I remember
they
the
end up
ending.
getting it.
Yeah.
They end up getting the will. And then like basically the whole rest of the movie is just invisible dog shenanigans where like basically Toby uses the dog to kind of like terrorize the bullies until they get scared and don't want to fuck with him anymore.
And then like the aunt at some point towards the end like forges the documents, and she tries to get like the legal team involved, and then there's like one cop who's in this the entire movie. It's like one cop. Every time they need a cop, it's the same guy.
Oh yeah, and he's got his like Spirit Halloween like cop costume.
He just kind of looks dumbfounded the whole time. He's like, well, I usually just do traffic tickets. This is a bit above my jurisdiction.
It's like Bulk and Skull in the Police Academy.
Oh gosh.
We were watching Power Rangers Zeo last night.
Good times.
Yeah, it was really good.
So yeah, and then we get towards the end of the movie, the aunt is gonna get away with it.
Yeah, they like go to Toby's house to basically like take him away
And
from
then,
his dad. Like the lawyer and the cop come and everything.
and then like all of a sudden, like here comes the box floating.
Mhm.
It's the magic dog Lucky, and he's just like, here it is, and everyone just accepts that there's this floating box.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, all right, well, here's the documents, here's the real will. So we're arresting the aunt for forgery and whatever.
Yeah, and we forgot to mention that Lucky talks.
Right.
This is a talking dog movie, and we all know Henry is very not fond of talking dog movies.
Look, there's not enough peanut butter on the roof of their mouth in the world can make a talking dog movie good to me. Like,
Funny story, I remember when I was a kid, my dad, when he got his first like video camera, he was like a tech guy, and so he always wanted like, you know, the newest coolest thing. And we got this like big one of those really big like over the shoulder VHS cameras, and we would just make stupid home movies together as a family. And like we had a dog, a golden lab named Sue, and we would like, he showed us the trick where like we would put peanut butter on like a Ritz cracker and feed it to her, and then he would like film her chewing it, and then we would like superimpose like voices over it like she was talking. And then what do you know, there were people at that same time who did that with a higher budget
and made a fucking career out of
made
it.
a fucking career out of it. I think it was like because it was like, you know, the fucking late 90s or whatever, we probably just made her say like yo quiero Taco Bell or some shit. But
oh man, I remember Raymond had a plush doll of the fucking dog from the Taco Bell commercials.
yeah.
And now he's got a annoying ass Pomchi. Just
Yeah.
fucking checks out. Like, fucking hate Raymond's
Dude,
dog.
and then remember like Beverly Hills Chihuahua, that was a dog movie
I
that
did-
we
I-
haven't discussed yet.
I saw that movie in theaters. I told you about that.
That's gonna be a big oof for me, dog. DAWG, dog.
Well, I had my reasons of seeing it
Yeah.
because on the internet, apparently at some point, Amy Jo Johnson from Power Rangers was supposed to be a voice actress in there.
Okay.
So I went to go see Amy Jo Johnson, and I guess I didn't get the memo that she didn't make the cut,
oh.
or like it might have just been a rumor, but you know, so I watched that movie, but also my ex was also like really into like dog movies.
Oh god. Sounds
So-
like a great match for you.
So like it was me, her sister, also very into dogs, and I think Raymond came with, again, very into dogs, and
Yeah.
our friend Mike, very into dogs.
Wow, you all went to see this movie.
It was like a you know, like a group thing.
Yeah.
That was our squad.
It was just very like at the time, I feel like Beverly Hills Chihuahua was this like amalgamation of like the fucking, you had like Paris Hilton, Beverly Hills, her little purse dog, her little Chihuahua, Tinkerbell, who like, I mean, I know that because I'm obsessed with Paris Hilton. But then there's like the Taco Bell dog, Chihuahua, and someone was just like, let's make a movie where we kind of like combine these two cultural icons. And that spawned like a whole ass franchise. So, you know, that's interesting. I haven't seen any of them, but the way you described it to me, that's what it sounds like.
The first one wasn't bad. I haven't seen any other ones. Oh, you know what? I'll say it right now. Beverly Hills Chihuahua is the least annoying talking dog movie I've ever seen.
Really? I thought, like, I never saw it personally because I thought it looked dumb as fuck.
It is.
Because I just remember all of the advertisements were just showing the scene where they were all singing the Chihuahua song. Chihuahua.
I forgot that existed.
And I was like, that looks fucking ridiculous.
It is. It very much is. I'm not saying it's a good movie at all.
Okay, but it
is better than any other talking dog movie.
You like it better than My Magic Dog?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Now, when it comes to like other dog movies, like Hachi is top dog for me.
Top dog.
Because that movie actually made me cry.
Wow. I've definitely cried from dog movies before,
like,
and that's why I was so skeptical.
Hachi's a real story.
Yeah.
Like it's based on a real. If you've seen the dog episode of Futurama,
oh god,
Hachi is the real deal. Hachi is an American adaptation of the Japanese story of Hachiko, which is a dog where that whole entire scenario happened just like in Futurama episode, except it wasn't about time travel. The guy died. So, like, the Futurama episode is based on the story of Hachiko. And so is Hachi.
Where the dog was just waiting for the owner and he just never came.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck.
So, like, you can actually go, there's like a statue of Hachiko in Japan at the train station where he was waiting for ages for his owner to come.
Can we just have, like, a happy fucking dog story?
Right?
I swear, like, Jesus Christ.
Right.
You know what? I think they're doing that now. Like, now that I think about it.
Like The Secret Life of Pets and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know why? Because we got to involve cats. Once cats get involved, it's like, we can't do this. We got to be like, we got to make this not so sad.
Okay.
There's a name. Someone message us a sad cat movie. I'll fucking wait. Like
Milo and Otis.
That's got dogs.
Yeah. And a cat.
Right. So, like, message me a story that's just about cats and it's sad. It doesn't exist. It's not out there. Because cat movies just aren't out there. Because we talked about it before. Like, why are dog movies a thing? Because people like to see dogs doing human things. Why are cat movies not a thing? Well, because we like to see cats doing cat things, and that doesn't bode well for telling a narrative.
So I guess if we're talking about cats and dogs together, of course there's the movie Cats and Dogs.
Right.
I don't know if that was on VHS. I think that was 2006. So
no, it was way before 2006. I was in junior high.
No way.
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah.
Oh,
junior high. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I never saw Cats and Dogs because it also looks really fucking stupid.
It really is.
Slapstick spy humor.
But that's what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
John Lovitz is in it. Tobey Maguire, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah, dude.
Sean Hayes, Charlton Heston.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
released on July 4th, 2000.
Yeah, the ads are saying the fireworks begin July 4th. Who are you gonna root for? Team Cat.
Team Cat, 100%.
All the way. They're the bad guys too, and that's how I am with a lot of movies. But yeah, the bad guys. The Decepticons are better than the Autobots. Cobra is better than G.I. Joe. Cats are better than dogs. That's how.
We'll go off on tangent forever.
Team Rocket is better.
But like fucking Homeward Bound. We haven't really talked about Homeward Bound, but that's another I feel dog
there's
movie
like Shiloh.
staple.
There's all these sad ass dog movies. They're also fucking sad. What is with you dog people wanting to watch sad fucking movies about your fucking dog?
I don't know, but it's like, it is true that like every single dog movie that we've watched, we've covered this entire month. Every single one we've talked about, a dog gets hurt or killed. Like
either the dog dies, or in the case of K9, we get a bait and switch where you think the dog is dead, and it's like, JK, he's alive.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened in My Magic Dog. Because Lucky does come back as a ghost.
But he's still a dead dog.
Yeah, but when he comes, like, it's not like Lucky was able to talk to Toby when he was alive. he got this power after he came back as a ghost.
So you're saying it works out in his favor that his dog died?
Well, I guess because then, like, when the time comes that, like, at the end of the movie, Lucky basically says that, like, okay, I served my purpose. It's time for me to go.
Now I gotta go to heaven.
Yeah, and Toby was able to, like, give him a proper goodbye when, like, you know, his death before was really, like, sudden and tragic. And, that's the whole reason why death is so hard for us in general as humans, because we rarely ever expect it. So you don't get to, like, really give a proper goodbye. So I think that the kind of ending, it sort of bothers me, because it's like, you know, what lesson are you teaching children?
There's no lesson there.
You know, it's like, oh, don't be sad if your dog died. He'll just come back as a ghost and then help you win your custody battle. And then once that's been fulfilled.
Why do so many of these dog movies also involve courts?
That's so true. There's always some kind of even fucking
dogs and lawyers.
No, because even Daniel and the Superdogs, which we'll get into later, had a fucking court scene in it. Air Bud had a court scene in it. They all have some kind of, like,
legal battle.
There's, like, some kind of legal battle, some kind of death. Every single one.
Like, if there's a dog movie, there's two things you can count on. That one of the dogs is gonna die, and then there's a lawyer involved.
Oh my
somehow.
God. Jesus Christ, it's so true. So, I mean, that's basically my magic dog.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in between the story points we mentioned is just slapstick. You know, like, oh, the
and
dog.
It's enjoyable. It's like, especially if, like, you like kids movies, you know, you're not expecting anything amazing with this.
If you have kids and they like dogs and they want to see a dog movie and you want to show them one that, like, isn't super sad or, like, you know,
yeah.
I think My Magic Dog is a perfectly good movie
sad.
To show a child.
It's definitely not sad.
No, it's definitely a comedy film. And, like, sure, there's all this, like, stupid legal battle shit and whatever, but that will generally gloss over their heads. Like, I think there's enough to keep kids entertained at really any age. So I'm not mad at My Magic Dog. No. I actually like it. I think it's
for what it is.
It's so bad it's good. And I think that when it comes to, like, a magical dog genre, like, if we're talking about all the, like, super dog movies, this is what I want them to be.
Yeah,
you know?
Sure.
I want them to be silly. I want them to not take themselves too seriously, just be, like, stupid slapstick. That's what we expect. So then we get into movies like Daniel and the Superdogs.
Yep.
Where we went in expecting a movie like My Magic Dog. We expected
a Superdog.
Slapstick, magic powers, stuff like that. And it was absolutely nothing along those lines.
So Daniel and the Superdogs, it starts out with Daniel's got a dead mom because, you know, it's a dog movie. So
before we get into that, I want to kind of take our listeners on the journey that we went through.
Right.
When watching this. So the cover shows two kids, a boy and a girl, maybe around 11 years old. And then there's a couple dogs with bandanas on them that say Superdog, based on the world famous Superdog extravaganza. And it's a silly font. It looks silly. It says, 11-year-old Daniel has been rocked by the sudden death of his mother. Isolated and devastated, Daniel gets little comfort from his workaholic father and seeks support from his two friends, Colin and William. Together, the boys decide to train a dog for the upcoming Superdogs competition that has come to town. But with his father forbidding Daniel from seeing his mischievous buddies, the three boys will have their work cut out to transform the lovable pooch into a winner. Join Daniel and the Superdogs in this feel-good movie about overcoming adversity with the help of true friends and a loving and cuddly canine. No, wrong. So this description, what they described here, is literally like 15 minutes of the entire
Right.
movie. If that. That's being really generous.
So like the box also shows like we see Daniel, and then we see the girl that's not his girlfriend.
He's very adamant that we understand she's not his girlfriend.
Guaranteed superior quality.
Don't say that.
The bottom of the box. The bottom of the box is guaranteed superior quality.
False.
This movie is 105 minutes, and it felt way longer than that.
Dude, I feel like we had to stretch this movie over like 2 days.
We did, and we watched parts of it in like 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
And it still felt like it took forever. Like, this movie was,
you guys,
god damn. Like,
so you remember how like Daddy, when we watched Daddy, we were expecting like maybe like some kind of softcore porno or something, and we ended up getting this like fucking melodrama. I feel like Daniel and the Superdogs is that same exact kind of movie.
right, because not that we're expecting softcore porn with Daniel and his Superdogs, but
I was expecting something like My Magic Dog.
I was expecting like Wonder Dog. It shows these dogs with these like fucking handkerchiefs around their necks that say Super Dog.
Yeah. And they talk about like, oh, we gotta take this this mangy mutt and turn him into a
super dog.
A super dog. So I was like, okay, a dog's doing tricks. That I'm like, the dog probably doesn't have superpowers, but I'm guessing that like, they're training this dog to do tricks or some kind of competition, maybe. I don't know. But that is true that they do try to train a dog. However, that is such a minor fraction of everything else that happens in the movie.
So, let's see. The movie starts, Daniel's dad is a single workaholic parent.
Yes, the mom just recently died, very recently.
And the mom had been doing something with like training super dogs at the kennel, which is also the super dog arena. Now, if you don't know what the super dogs are, which we didn't go into this, Super Dogs is a very specific dog show
in real life.
It's a real dog show that's been running for now around 40 years. When this movie was made, like 20 something years.
Yeah.
And it is your typical kind of dog show. And this movie was made because somebody had access to film the Superdog show that was happening in Canada at the time.
Right.
Like,
I believe it's in Quebec.
Quebec. It is French Canadian.
Yeah, like there's a lot of French names in the credits. So.
And this movie was made for TV, filmed on the CBC.
Mm-hmm.
And but the Superdogs weren't in the credits, so like it's not like the Superdogs paid for this movie. Somebody just had like approached the Superdogs and was like, "Hey, when you're over in Quebec, can we film and make a movie?"
What I think happened is that like Quebec, like Canada, definitely like they have a budget and it's in their laws that if they produce film and distribute it, there's a certain percentage of the movie that has to represent Canada or be inherently Canadian.
We've discussed that.
Yeah, so like I normally in like America, if something, say like a movie got made about some kind of big event, usually the event would like pay to have that movie made as advertisement. But in Canada, it's a little different, that there's this Superdog competition happening in Montreal or somewhere in Quebec, whatever. And the Canadian government sees that like this is a tourist attraction and it benefits us to make more people aware of this as a way to like interest people in coming to Canada, experiencing what Canada has to offer. So it's like, yeah, the Superdogs weren't like, hey, we've got this event, it's really cool, let's make a movie. It's more like Canada is like, let's use this to really show what Canada is all about and what Canada has to offer.
It's so funny because it's like the laws, it needs 2 minutes.
Yeah, you really don't need much. And
you need 2 minutes.
Maybe that's why there's only like 2 minutes of the actual fucking
Superdogs?
competition.
Oh my god.
And the rest is just
my god. You are
absolute
right.
melodrama.
So if you're familiar with SCTV and you're familiar with the movie, Strange Brew, the skit from SCTV that became Strange Brew, where it's like super stereotypical of Canada. I think I've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
That is entirely based out of like the law where they're going, your show needs to represent Canada.
Right.
What do you want us to do? Drink fucking beer, wear toques, and talk about sledding and hockey? Yes. That sounds fine.
Yeah.
It's like, fine. We'll make a fucking SNL style skit out of making fun of, Canadian stereotypes, and then that was popular enough to get a fucking movie. That's actually pretty damn funny. And I was really stoked when I got that on VHS.
Mm-hmm. I remember finding it at the store and I was like, Henry,
yeah, because
I've been looking for this.
I was talking about it. I was like, man, I want to watch Strange Brew, but it's not on streaming anywhere. And then later that week, we're at Goodwill. We're like, weren't you looking for Strange Brew? I'm like, oh shit, there it is.
Because we also discussed how you watch a movie or a TV show that's Canadian, and even if they don't explicitly state
you
it's
can
Canadian,
tell,
you can tell.
Yeah.
And so we were trying to quantify what exactly is it that makes something feel Canadian. And I think that was something that we kind of failed to realize or fully take into account, is that Canadian media purposely tries to differentiate itself in that way.
But they do it in such a subtle way.
Yes.
See, I don't know how
our cultures really aren't that different.
Yeah.
It's very subtle.
It's super, super subtle. It's really hard for me to think about how much of it is on purpose, because I don't think it's part of the the Canadian law, because
it is.
No, I don't think it is, because it's a subtle thing. So the subtleness is us just being very aware and adapt at pinpointing that. Versus because Canada wants it to be overtly Canadian as with the law, but we're talking about the subtle Canadianness that we can identify. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that actually you nailed it. Why is there? So even though this movie is based upon the concept of the Superdogs, and it's sold on this concept of the Superdogs, I can say it right now, we barely see any Superdogs.
Yeah, so the thing about the Superdogs is there's, they have this big arena where they have all of these jumps, things for the dogs to jump over and run through.
And it's also a kennel.
Yeah, and we'll get into the kennel, but
this movie doesn't make sense.
They show the dogs that there's a bunch of different dogs, and they're all competing in this show, but some of the dogs are really not good. So it's I don't know if there's any criteria to become a super dog that you have to get a certain score or anything like that. I think it's just a name. That it's these dogs are the super dogs, and there's nothing particularly super about them. There's this one dog that's a bulldog, and it's always it can never do the jumps, it can never go as fast, and it cuts to all the people in the audience laughing when the dog goes to jump over the things and actually jumps through them, and everyone laughs. And so I'm how is that dog a super dog? He doesn't seem very super to me.
He's just part of the Superdog show.
Yeah. So there's this kennel, and it was kind of confusing. What I think they never outright explained, but the way that I interpreted it was this. So Daniel, the main boy of the movie, his mom used to work at the local kennel, that was owned by her best friend. And at the kennel, they would, like hold on to dogs and take care of dogs. But like some of those dogs would compete in the Superdogs show. So like they were just very involved in the local dog community, I guess. She ran this local kennel in this small town. And so like they had the family dog that they had was a Borzoi, which is we had to look it up because we were like, what kind of fucking dog is this? Because it looks insane.
It's Russian. He's a Russian dog.
He is a Borzoi.
Borzoi. Because we saw the type of name, we're like, what the fuck kind of dog name is Borzoi? And then we find out it's Russian, we're like, don't that make sense? Borzoi. And we started repeating it back to each other in a Russian accent.
Because at first we looked it up, what kind of dog is that? And we saw it in text, Borzoi, and we're like, how the fuck do you pronounce that? And you were jokingly like, I don't know, Borzoi? And we're like, no, that's not it. That can't be it. And then we look it up, and it was like, oh wait, no, that is how it's pronounced. So, it's this really ugly fucking dog. It's got a really skinny, long face.
Yeah.
And then this like
everything's long.
Body.
Everything's long.
And they just look really scared all the time. And like, I don't know, but they have this Borzoi named Wolf.
And the kids skateboarding home. I got things to say about the skateboarding in this movie.
Yeah.
So this kid's skateboarding home. Everyone's wearing like
friends.
Him and his friends are all wearing like Hurley.
Oh my God.
And Volcom.
Yeah. So this movie was in 2004, and like I have never seen such like 2004 fashion in my entire life. These kids dressed
like how I did in 2001.
Same.
So it's like you know how it is. It's like America. It's Canada today or America 10 years ago, and that's how it is. And it's
our Canadian listeners hate us, dude.
I have a lot of Canadian friends. Yeah. I love Canada.
So. I went to Canada once. It was twice. I liked it. It was nice.
I've been to Canada before.
Yeah.
So but no, that's actually an MST3K reference, what I said.
Oh.
America today, Canada 10 years. No, Canadian.
Canadian.
I always say Canadian because
it's
of
like Candida.
Because of Bobby's World.
Oh my God.
Fox Kids.
Damn.
Canadians, because like I guess they were Canadian, the show that became like a plot point. Anyway, so their dog, the Borzoi, their skateboarding homie's like, where's Wolf? He's like, I don't know. I thought it was with you. And we know the dad is now a single dad because he's pulling out a grocery bag full of Stofers.
Yeah, he like drops the grocery bag on the floor
and it's nothing but TV dinners because he's a single workaholic dad and the mom's dead because the dog movie. So
yeah, and it's just like, well, I never learned how to cook. I just had my wife do it all the time.
I can cook.
Yes, you can. You make a mean steak.
You make a great steak.
You make a great steak when you're drunk at 11 p.m.
That's true.
Like last night.
It was last night. I can cook other things.
Yes, you're a good cook.
I can sustain myself. Now, I do like it when you cook for me.
I like cooking for you too.
I'm just very busy. So like people think I can't cook because I eat like really simple meals a lot of times where I like Soylent and Huel because it's so time efficient.
You eat to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
And like that's literally it. That's why you're not a picky eater. You're just like, I understand that my body requires sustenance to function.
This is fuel.
Yeah. So you're just like, I'm just gonna eat this whatever. I'm just gonna find something and keep going.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, no, I've got to craft a fucking meal. I gotta have.
I can appreciate a good meal though.
Yes.
Like it's not one of those things where like people think I don't have a palate. And it's like, no.
No, you definitely like food.
I definitely have a palate. I can definitely enjoy food, but like I also enjoy time.
Yeah. More time to play video games and read Wikipedia articles.
You have a finite amount of time. You have an infinite amount of access to food if you live in a first world country. Mm-hmm. Therefore, I'm going to prioritize my time over my food.
Very smart. But speaking of Wikipedia articles, I just want to take a second to mention that neither of the movies that we watched this week have a Wikipedia article.
Yes.
So this is real fucking obscure, folks.
This is super obscure. This is some weird.
Super.
Okay, My Magic Dog has been covered on YouTube before, but Superdog Daniel
I
is
have
not.
never heard of this movie at all, ever.
This movie is also still shrink wrapped.
Yeah. It's so like the thing is like, so Wolf the Borzoi would compete in the Superdogs show, and apparently was a very good Superdog.
Wasn't very good.
Was good.
Was a good dog.
But ever since the mom died, Wolf has been very depressed. So both Daniel and Wolf have been having a really hard time.
I'm sure the dad is technically too. I'm hoping.
But he just, he has to worry about cooking now, and it's really hard for him.
It's really hard for him to hit 300 on the microwave.
Yeah.
And
Because we see him like burn a fucking frozen pizza or something later in the movie, and it's like, really, dude, you can't fucking set a timer? Like, come on.
so, I mean, my mom doesn't. I go one off when I was with my parents. I left one off my mom all the time. Like, why the fuck didn't you just set a goddamn timer? It's on the fucking stove. It's right there next to the temperature. Set the fucking timer.
Oh my God.
It's part of the fucking stove.
I had one of those like meat thermometers where like you could set a temperature and you could keep it in the meat and then hang it outside the oven. So like as soon as your chicken hit 165 or whatever, it was like done. Amazing. I loved it.
That's great.
Yeah. But anyway,
So,
so, like,
this
this fucking movie. So,
So
like
the dog, the Borzoi, it likes to go and crawl onto the dead mom's grave.
it's super fucking sad. Like,
This is the opening
straight out the
scene.
gate. The
Like,
dog keeps running away.
to
and-
go to the grave.
Yeah, and so like
The
they're
da-
like, "Oh, have you seen Wolf?" No, I haven't seen Wolf.
They
So
know
then-
exactly where to go.
So Daniel's like, "Yeah, I know where to go." He goes to the grave and finds Wolf there, and is like, "Damn it, Wolf! Like this is hard for me too, but you gotta stop running away."
And so the dad's idea of fixing this is to give the dog to the kennel.
yeah,
Instead of like, being there for the dog together. Like this is to me, this would be all in this together. Like,
we're all sad about this.
it's like yes, it's like this dog that was the dog's mom too.
right?
So,
Yeah,
but
that like Wolf,
fuck it.
that like it's I wouldn't exactly call it a boy and his dog story because it's not like
It's not a boy and his dog story because the dog gets
the
taken
dog
away.
Wolf wasn't really Daniel's dog. Wolf was the mom's dog.
Right.
And like so Wolf is really fucking sad, and like Daniel's sad, but he expresses it in different ways because he's like a tweenage boy. But like so yeah, the dad is like, "Oh, we can't have Wolf running away all the time. So we're just going to bring Wolf to the kennel and basically just like give up the
Yeah.
dog."
100%.
And so then like almost immediately the kennel like finds a new owner for Wolf, and then like Wolf gets taken away, and it's like
Then Wolf runs away like that same
escapes, yeah. And so it's like, how fucking awful is that dad? Because from what we can see, the grave is relatively close to their house. If I'm not mistaken, Daniel just like rides his fucking
Yeah.
skateboard over there.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the big deal if Wolf keeps going there? Like, it's sad, but is that a reason that like this
It's like,
poor
dude, it's
boy?
like your dog knows what happened. Your
And-
dog is
yeah.
understanding the concept of death.
And your 11-year-old son is also mourning and very sad and taking this very hard. And it's like, you're gonna take away his dog too?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with
Yeah.
you? That's awful.
Right off the bat, we were just like, what the fuck kind of logic is this?
Yeah.
This makes
like
no
treating
sense.
this your family dog like disposable? Like what the fuck?
It's like, well, this is annoying. Like,
I know. And it's like
just keep the dog locked up inside then.
yeah.
My cat doesn't leave the house.
Yeah, I
It's
don't-
not that fucking hard to keep your dog inside.
Yeah. Or like, if you're gonna put him outside, like put him on a leash or something. Like what
Well,
the fuck?
when I had dogs, you take them outside to use the bathroom. That's why I don't like dogs. Like, yeah, fucking like my cat's gotta use the bathroom. It waits inside the toilet when I'm taking a poop sometimes, and it's like, oh, tag in, tag out. Like, fucking,
Yeah.
shit, man. Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, like, why he did that.
So right off the bat, we're kind of like, I'm not liking where this is going. I'm not liking this.
So then, like, the kid, like, Daniel, he's got his Asian friend and his fat friend.
Mhm.
His fat friend's a fucking poser. Okay.
They all wear, like, they're all wearing, like, Hurley and Volcom and, like, these baggy ass clothes, like, skater clothes.
One of them was wearing, like, was a jacket and then said 66 on it. I was like, that's either from Kmart. I was like, that's Kmart Route 66. You're like, yeah. I was like, or it's Vans, which
Yeah.
is, like, they put 66 on everything. And we're like, you know what? They're skating. They're all wearing name brand skating stuff with Hurley and Volcom. I was like, it would make sense for them to be wearing Vans.
Yeah, I feel like the costume department just, like, went to their local mall and they just went to, like, Zoomies, PacSun, Vans, and they just were like, all right, this is what's in.
Yeah.
Here's your drip, children. It was really funny. You remember, was it yesterday? I said, like,
oh my
swag.
God.
I was like, oh yeah, swag. And then you were like, I believe the kids now call it drip.
Because I got a new outfit. And you're like, yeah, that outfit's got swag. I was like, the term now is drip.
And I was like, oh shit. Please help me not talk like a boomer.
I'm the old person at work. I work with nothing but Zoomers. I know what fashion is in, and it feels so weird to me because I feel like I'm not in fashion because I feel very set in my, like, style, yet all my coworkers say I have style.
I think you're stylish and you're very stupid to think that you're not.
And, like, I don't follow. I'm wearing skinny jeans, which are now out. Like, Vans doesn't make skinny jeans anymore. I bought as many as I could before when we discontinued them. I bought as many.
Dude, kids wear such baggy jeans now. They wear these, like,
Junko is trying to make another. So Junko has been trying to make a comeback for, like, literally the last 10 years with a big push starting 2015, and now they're actually starting to get a threshold on their comeback.
Yeah, fashion now is, like, straight up, like, grunge.
Yeah, we talked about this.
I call it Goodwill grunge. Like, you go to an Urban Outfitters and it literally just looks like a Goodwill, but everything is like $50.
Yeah. We went to Urban Outfitters yesterday.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to Spirit Halloween, and I used to love Urban Outfitters when I was a bit of a fucking hipster in my 20s. And
it's our prime demographic.
It is hipsters in their 20s, and like, and so it's funny when people called me a hipster. Like, my friend Melanie would call me a hipster in my late 20s, and I was like, I'm not a hipster. She's like, you are. I was like, no, because, like, hipsters now are doing this and this and this. This is when I knew I had, like, fallen out of that demographic because I was set in my style, this, like, goth emo kind of thing, and I was like, that's not the hipster look anymore. Hipsters
was that in, like, the 2010s, like, when hipster was all about, like,
flannel,
handlebar mustaches, and, like,
exactly, like,
flannel.
All the kids that went from being seen in emo to, like, oh, I gotta get a job.
Yeah.
So they became hipsters.
It's
where
so
it's
true.
Like, it's slightly more marketable.
Yeah,
that's what fucking happened.
It's so true.
And that's exactly what fucking happened because that was me.
Yeah.
And then when I got out of the Air Force and stuff, and I was able to, like, just go to do whatever style I want to, I, like, devolved back to just going. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna be this emo. I'm gonna do my own thing, like this goth punk emo look, just whatever. Like, I just wear what I like, and yeah, it's all kind of dark and spiky, and
I think we all kind of go through a phase where it's like, when you're a young adult, like, you kind of cringe at who you were as a teenager, and so you kind of, like, want to do something else. You
differentiate from it, yeah.
But then, like, once your brain fully develops around, like, 25, and you're like, you look back and you're like, I'm not being me anymore.
Right?
Why did I stop doing that? And then you kind of, like, go back.
You learn how to be who you are without the cringe.
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
or you just accept your cringe. Or you just accept it, and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm cringe, and that's based.
One or the other. And it's like, I remember where I was trying to distance myself from the whole goth thing and skating and stuff like that. I was like, well, you know what? that is what I am. That's the style I've always liked and been attracted to, and I just am gonna do what I do. And now I have many more years of knowledge and other things to base off of it. And so what ends up happening is you have a more curated taste, because it's like all the adults that were in bands that you were trying to imitate in your teen years,
Yeah.
but you didn't have the budget.
Right.
You didn't have the budget to, and you didn't exactly have all the knowledge or fortitude to fully pull it off.
Right.
But now you have those things. You have the same access to things that they had because they were in their like 20s and 30s, all those band members, you know? And now that's where you're at in life. So now you can have that like nice, solid goth look. And it's so funny that like Zoomers now, like teens now, because of how the internet is, those kids have the same access that we have now. So they're not getting that. They don't have that cringe phase. Like when I see like modern like emo teenagers, they look like how emo models look and not like how we looked wearing Invader Zim hoodies and trip pants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and also just like online shopping.
Yeah,
they have such a much wider.
It's so easy to steal his look. Like,
yes, exactly.
Because especially with the way influencer culture is, it's like, here's my fit. Here's where I got it from.
Yes.
Click my link. Click my affiliate link.
For 20% off or whatever. Yeah. No, absolutely. I remember back then, it was like, I had to use my mom's credit card to like go on eBay or something, and like it would take 2 weeks to show up, and it was like $25 for one t-shirt, and $25 in 2004 money was a lot more than it is now.
Well, actually, no, it's the other way around. $24 in 2004 money is worth more now because of inflation.
Well, I mean that
as a teenager.
As a teenager.
Yeah, in 2004, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, you know, I didn't have an allowance. So for me, it was like, if I had money, it was very, very rare. And so it was like, this is my one fucking t-shirt I can get, you know? All right. Anyways.
So this movie sucks. This movie just went off on this whole sidebar. So then the kid that makes him get rid of it. Then he and his friends meet up. We got Asian and Fat, and we go to meet them up with each other at school, and we learn more about it. And we meet Girl. Girl is...
What's her name? Claire?
Girl is volunteering at the kennel also.
Well, I think the girl is the daughter of the woman who owns the kennel, who was Daniel's mom's best friend. Because originally we thought, is the woman who owns the kennel like Daniel's mom's sister, but then that would make them cousins, which would make their relationship really weird. So
maybe not in Canada.
Oh my god!
I don't know where it lies in Canada. Like, this movie took place in Kentucky. I'd be like, this is not weird.
I just wish they could take like 2 seconds to just kind of explain their relationship. You know, that's all I want to know.
We just get a flashback.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I don't know.
It's like, okay, so there was something with the mom and the lady who runs the arena/kennel.
Mm-hmm.
And the arena/kennel doesn't make any fucking sense. Like people they sell the dogs that are also the super dogs, but people can also trade in their dogs.
Yeah, it's like a fucking GameStop dogs. I don't see, because here we were thinking that like there was something special about the Superdogs, right?
The name Super denotes that there's something special about them.
Absolutely. So it's like, okay, what makes for a super dog? They can do cool tricks. Maybe they're purebred. They're strong. They're fast. No, literally a super dog is just any dog that comes into this kennel, because apparently if someone comes in and they're like, hey, I want to buy one of these super dogs, they're just like, okay. All right.
That's cool.
Yeah, because we see this happen.
And then like, if you're just like, I don't want my dog anymore, they're like, all right. And then they train him to become a super dog. Like,
I don't fucking get it.
It doesn't make sense.
Because then we see like there's this one dog, the dog that's in the middle of the cover, the Jack Russell Terrier.
Right.
Like, He's not very well trained.
Like he starts it off like during this. So wait, we'll get there. So let's continue. So then we meet Fat and Asian. Those are Daniel's friends, and we meet Girl, who, as we just discussed, is she works at
We're
the
not
kennel.
going to refer to them as Fat, Asian, and Girl. Yes, we are. We do that in every fucking movie we talk about.
That's what we're gonna have to do.
We can't be fucked to remember character names. We're just like, yeah, that's Fat, that's Asian, that's Girl. Okay.
So
we're like the worst movie review podcast.
No, because other movie review podcasts do the same fucking shit. And I felt so relieved when I started listening to podcasts like, oh my god, I'm not the only one that just does that in movies. I felt so relieved. I was like, oh, I'm normal. So Fat, Asian, and Girl are like, you know, and then there's other girl. There's Tall Girl who is friends with Girl, and they were talking about how Daniel's been all fucked up since his mom's been gone.
Oh, that scene in the restaurant?
Yeah.
They're with other girls that, like, Girl has her friends, her group of friends who are girls, but we only see them in, like, that one scene, whereas, like, Daniel and his friends.
Right.
I would say the majority of the movie focuses around, like, the shenanigans that they get into.
Right, because Fat is very much into pulling pranks.
He's a troublemaker.
Right. So, Daniel and his friends, they are all meeting up to see the Superdogs show.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if they get free tickets.
Daniel's got the tickets. They're like, where the fuck is Daniel? He's got the tickets.
Right.
So Daniel, she's like, I'm right behind you, Fat. And like, you know, he's like, I'm right behind you, Fat. And because he overheard them talking shit about him, they're like, where the fuck is he? And they didn't say fuck, but you know, you get the point. Anyway, so then I go watch the Superdog show, and this is essentially shooting the rodeo. If you're not familiar with the term shoot the rodeo, it means when there is a real world live event and you film it for a movie. It's different from B-roll, where you're filming stuff for the movie that might or might not be related. You are basing your movie around the concept of this one chance you have to shoot this thing. And so we are assuming everybody that was in the audience at the Superdog show signed off some kind of fucking waiver when they bought their fucking ticket that said they were going to be in a movie for the CBC.
Yeah, they definitely play it up.
Yeah, and so then we see the Superdog show. That's when we see the Jack Russell Terrier being stupid and he runs off. And then
he goes to comfort Daniel because
Daniel
gets sad being at the Superdog show, knowing, you know, that was like what he and his mom would do together. And so he just kind of like sneaks off to some area,
some hallway.
Yeah, to just kind of sit and brood by himself. And then the Jack Russell Terrier follows him. And then, the dog's name is Gypsy. We'll just call him the Jack Russell Terrier. So the Jack Russell Terrier follows him and sits with him. And then, you know, they go to find the Jack Russell Terrier and they see, and they're like, oh no, he knows Daniel's sad. Oh my God. He seems to have some kind of connection with Daniel. He likes Daniel. So I was thinking where this is going to go is like, you know, the back of the box explains that
they're going to raise the Superdog.
He's going to train this dog, but like, we don't fucking see that for like 40 more minutes.
Because his dad's like, you can't have another dog.
Yeah.
So
you know what happens when you get a dog?
It gets sad about your mom and
it runs half a mile down the street and sits on your mom's grave. And that's unacceptable for some reason. Oh my God. So like, what fucking, so the rest of the movie just focuses on,
because
like,
there's also Russian neighbor.
He's Polish or something.
Well,
and he's like the kids think he's creepy. I feel like this is
they call him Dracula and stuff.
Like, yeah, because he has some like, you know, like Eastern European kind of name.
But he's got like
He's
got like
old.
a Jeep.
He's got like this old fancy looking car.
He also drives by in a Jeep with suicide doors. So like I don't fucking know why they're calling him Dracula.
I think it's a common trope in kids movies about like the creepy mysterious neighbor. You know, that like you remember like Harriet the Spy, how that was basically the whole concept of the movie, is like this girl becoming very interested in the lives of her neighbors and like watching them and observing them.
I mean,
that,
she lived in New York City. It's a bit different.
It is different, but I think that's kind of like a similar concept here, is that they have this one neighbor who's like an old guy that they're just kind of, they don't know anything about him, but they just think he's kind of weird. And so they're like literally sitting in the bushes outside his house
binoculars that they
him.
found at the thrift.
Yeah, or at a fucking garage sale, he finds the fat kid finds this
Old school binoculars,
like telescope thing, and they're watching him through the bushes, and like the old guy's totally aware of this. Like he sees them
because he talks to the dad about it.
Mm-hmm. He sees them in like literally the rear view mirror of his car as he's in his driveway.
Because they're not sneaky at all.
Right. And so he just laughs about it. He's like, oh, they think I'm weird, whatever. And like, there's this whole subplot. I'm wondering where this is going to go. But like, it just kind of stops.
Yeah, there's like so much of it just goes nowhere.
That like, that whole arc, from what I can remember, is like they're creeped out by the neighbor. They pull a prank on him where they put this like I don't know, like science classroom fucking skeleton like on the back of his car, and he doesn't know about it, and he's driving around with it, and they're like, haha, that's really funny. And I believe
the shenanigans are not good at all.
No, the kids get punished for that, if I'm not mistaken. They have to paint his fence, remember? But
no,
then
I don't remember.
Yeah, they get in trouble for it, so they have to like paint his fence. And then like one day Daniel's watching TV and he sees the old guy on TV being interviewed, that I guess he was like some war veteran or something in like, again, like the Air Force or something. He was like doing stuff with planes, and Daniel thought it was cool, and it's like, wow, maybe he's not so creepy. And like, that's literally it. And then they just don't revisit that character or anything ever again.
And then there's like, there's a thing all the time where like he tries to bring the Jack Russell Terrier home. The dad's like, no. Mm-hmm. And he's just like helping raise it at the kennel. He starts working at the kennel, right? Mm-hmm. And the dad's like, I appreciate what you're trying to do for Daniel, but this is not the time for him to have another dog. So he like goes off on like the dead mom's best friend.
Yeah.
And there's a part where they're doing something with, there's the old lady.
Old lady.
That's whose barn they fucked up.
Oh, the grandma.
Was that the grandma? Because the dad called her Mrs. fucking Longbottom or something. Like
Yeah. So we forgot to mention there's an old lady who is.
We could tell how fucking convoluted this bullshit movie is.
Daniel's mom's best friend who owns the kennel. Her mother, who is the grandmother to the girl that Daniel has a crush on. The girl who looks like Carrie Fisher with braces.
Daniel's brother's, mother's, father's, uncle's, cousin's, nephew's roommate.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know if it's her barn. I just know that
it was because they went and were fucking around with doing something, and then they found a tractor, and they were fucking around with the tractor, and then they saw bats, and then they run off, and they knock something over, and they collapse the entire like barn on itself, and then
they get in trouble.
Fat was like, "We aren't gonna tell anybody about this," and Daniel's like, "No, I'm a pussy. I'm gonna tell my dad.
I'm gonna narc.
I'm gonna narc on myself." So he tells, and his dad's like, "You broke Mrs. Longbottom's fucking barn." Like, And like, so that's how I know, like, it was like,
Okay.
not because I remember he said Mrs. something or other. Like,
yeah. And that's the point where like his dad says you're not allowed to see your friends anymore.
Right, because you
you're
just get in
being
trouble with
bad.
them.
Like Daniel himself, he's not a bad kid. I don't even think his friends are bad kids. Like
Fat is a poser. He mall grabs a skateboard for the record.
yeah, Henry had to take me down this fucking rabbit hole where he explained what mall grabbing was to me. So that was interesting.
So we know Fat never actually rode a skateboard. He was the prop department handed Fat Kid a skateboard and was like, "Here you go, hold this," and he fucking mall grabs it like a fucking poser.
Oh my god.
So
So he's not allowed to see his friends anymore because he's just getting in too much trouble. Daniel himself isn't bad. He's just kind of along for the ride. I mean, we see that like Fat Kid, who I don't think is a bad kid either.
No, he's just a prankster.
But he doesn't want to get caught for what happened with the barn. So like Daniel's like, yo, I'm going to say it was us. Like we should be honest about this, you know? And Fat Kid's like, you're a traitor, all this stuff. And so, you know, of course, Daniel admits guilt and he still gets in trouble. But his dad decides it's a good idea to like send him to stay with his grandparents for like the weekend or fucking spring break or whatever it is. Like for some amount of time that's undisclosed.
At some point, we see the Borzoi just wandering about the fucking woods, meandering, doing whatever.
Yeah, this is like the B story of the whole movie is that like as this plot, like everything we've mentioned is going on, we mentioned earlier that Wolf had escaped from his new home.
He got bought by somebody that was also had another Borzoi.
Yeah, and literally like put them in this tiny like 6x3 like gated area.
I think that was supposed to be temporary because like they drop off the Borzoi and he's like, okay, yeah, we'll put it here right now to get it introduced to this other fucking Borzoi. They went inside the house to do paperwork together.
Just gonna leave this strange dog with my other dog,
like
and lock them in a fucking cage together and just hope they get along.
Right? It's like, that's not how dogs work, guys.
Yeah, they're Borzoids. Whatever.
Let them sniff each other's asses first. Like, see how it works.
And there's like one dog house that I assume they have to share. And it's like, dude, they don't know each other.
And it was like overcast too, so it was shit weather because it's fucking Canada.
And it was just bad. I'm like, wouldn't this, like, the woman who owns the kennel be like, hey, maybe we should,
bring the dogs inside.
Or like, let's properly introduce them or something.
But no, it's like, here you go.
Yeah, just, here's your new friend. We're gonna go away now and unsupervise you. Jesus fuck. Well,
Wolf had the right idea.
Yeah,
He's like,
Wolf wasn't having it.
This.
He's like, nah. And like literally dug a hole under the fence and escaped.
And then some Polish guy bought the Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah. But like, yeah, throughout the movie we see Wolf is kind of just like walking.
At one point he
woods.
gets shot at for some reason.
Yeah, he's like walking through the woods and some hunter shoots at him and it's like, why?
But why would the hunt, like, first of all, how did the Canadian get a gun?
Oh my god.
Second of all, why is he shooting a dog?
Yeah. It's like, don't you bring dogs hunting?
You bring dogs hunting.
So it's like, wouldn't you just assume that's like someone...
another hunter's dog?
Yeah, why would you shoot?
Why would you shoot? Like, that's how you get into a fucking fight. Like, why would you shoot my dog? Like, why would you...
shot my dog.
You kicked my dog. Why would you shoot the dog? It makes no sense. It doesn't look like a fucking deer.
It's literally just like, hey, we gotta have a dog shot at. It's a dog movie. This is just part of the quota.
It's a checklist. The dog's gotta get shot.
Yeah, fucking hell.
It's a dog movie. It's how it works.
So like, I assume like they don't really tell you where Wolf is going, but you assume that Wolf is coming back home. So you're just kind of like waiting for that to happen. Right. And so eventually,
there's a lot of back and forth about like, we see bonding between Daniel and Girl, and Daniel's very adamant that she is not his girlfriend.
They're very like tween about it. where it's like, ew, I don't like her. She's not my girlfriend. Ew, I don't like him. He's not my boyfriend.
And
but all the
everybody's
adults are
like,
like, oh, I think you like him. I think you like him. She's
Yeah.
like, no, I don't.
So then Fat and Asian hatch a plan to hang out with Daniel, even though they're not allowed to, so they dress in drag.
Yeah. Little odd. Little unusual. Why? I don't.
So they can hang out with their friend.
But they're only there for like 3 minutes.
Daniel likes wearing skirts. They're very freeing. And any excuse he can come up with to...
Daniel wasn't wearing a skirt.
That's it, Daniel. Fat likes wearing skirts. They're very freeing. And, you know... Because,
hey, you know...
Because Fat was very adamant that he calls them ladies. Even when they were like by themselves, they're ahem. He's like, sorry, ladies. Like Daniel tried to just talk to them like they're normal, and then
so like Fat was just straight up role playing.
Yes,
like he was very into his role. He was like, I am a lady, and you will address me as such.
I think Asian did also.
I feel like Asian just kind of goes along with whatever Fat does.
Yeah.
He kind of interjects as the voice of reason sometimes, but like he always gets like over, you know, where they're like, whatever, dude, and he's just like,
because
okay.
Fat's the prankster. He's the one that cooks up all the fucking shit.
Yeah.
So at some point, Daniel's really butthurt about like everything, and so he lets all the dogs at the kennel loose, and girl's mom are like, oh no, all the dogs. And same thing with the Mrs. Longbottom. Like they're all just like
we're just making up our own fucking names.
I'm sticking with Miss Longbottom. I don't fucking know her name was. I've been calling her Miss Longbottom the whole time. I'm like 4 beers in. So
This is my third.
So Miss Longbottom, girl's mom are all like trying to get all the dogs.
Yeah.
Because they all been like let loose.
Because Daniel's pissed off at this point. I mean, he's lost his mom, he lost Wolf, and now he lost Jack Russell Terrier.
Yeah, because the dad's like, no, you can't have the Jack Russell Terrier. And the Jack Russell Terrier got sold to Polish guy.
Yeah. And so it was like, he was just like, and he's not allowed to see his friends anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He has nothing. And he's pissed off.
And he's got a girl. The whole time he could have just been like, hey girl.
But he was a tween. And so
that doesn't make sense to me, because as a tween, I liked people. And I knew I liked people.
But did you do anything about it?
Okay. So tween Henry time.
All right, let's go.
My first girlfriend was named Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still friends with Nikki to this day.
Okay.
Nikki and I would talk at school. We were boyfriend and girlfriend. 5th grade. We knew we were boyfriend. We called each other boyfriend and girlfriend. We wanted to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Nikki stayed the night at my house in 5th grade.
Wow.
Granted, it was a birthday party. I had a huge co-ed birthday party, my 11th birthday.
Okay.
I invited like everybody in the class. It was a huge fucking party, so I could get as many presents as possible. And it was a sleepover. And my dude, I gotta give it to my mom. Like she made like pancakes and like sausage for everybody. Like a lot of kids stayed the night. Like we had a lot of kids. It was a crazy like.
You know what? Like, I was the token girl in my friend group, and my mom knew that. So, like, she was totally cool with me having sleepovers with my guy friends, and they would all come over and, like, just crash on the couch and shit.
But, like, it was, like, 20-something fucking kids. It was, like...
Wow.
Yeah, it was, like, 20-something fucking...
You had 30. A rager.
I did. And so, like, I became friends with my friend Tressa. I became friends with her the next year, 6th grade. And then, like, she was a popular girl in like 5th grade, and people were like, hey, you going to Henry's party? She's like, who the fuck is Henry? Because she had a different teacher than I in 5th grade.
Okay.
And she's like, who the fuck is she? Like, and her and some of the other people that I became friends with the next year, because I was, teachers shift every year, right? You know, they were like, yeah, dude, last year people were like, are you going to Henry's party? And they didn't know who the fuck I was. And they're like, who is this kid who's throwing this huge ass party that everyone's fucking going to, and why the fuck wasn't I invited?
Damn, Henry.
So, I liked people, and I knew I liked people, and I had people that liked me. We liked each other. We knew we liked each other.
You were open with each other about that.
Yeah.
There wasn't this game.
There wasn't this, girls are gross. That was never a fucking thing.
I feel like that's like behavior that like really young kids do. Like I'm talking like under 10.
Yeah.
Or like, like I think like 7-year-olds who are like, oh, girls, blah.
To me, well, I never had that phase because I hung out with girls.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hung out with like all kinds of fucking like, I've always just got along with everybody.
Well, maybe that's what it is though. Because I think about like, so I always hung out with guys. All of my friends were guys. I had some girlfriends, but like when I was older, more like in high school and stuff.
Right.
And so like for me, I never really developed many close friendships with girls. So like when I got older and I realized I was like kind of partially gay, I was like, I don't know how to go about this. I don't know what to do. And I think it's because I just didn't really have a lot of practice just like interacting with women in that way. So I don't know if like that's what it is because he had friends that were boys, and so he just kind of assumed talking to girls or liking girls was like a
gay.
Yeah, or something that was difficult or something.
It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense.
I can just say from experience, like talking with girls is hard. If you like them, it's hard.
I'm aware.
It's very difficult.
Been there. I'm just saying, like, But
like, why is she in denial? Usually, girls will like mature faster than boys, and they're much more like, if a girl likes a boy, especially like a young girl, they know it and they're very aware of it. Where like a boy, I could see a boy being oblivious and like not understanding that a girl likes him. But like if a girl were to express interest, I don't think they would be like, ew, gross. They would be like, oh, this is in male.
The girl likes me?
Yeah, like wow, this is incredible. Society has told me this is what I want.
Especially if you like girl too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So like
maybe it's because they're family friends. Like they thought like
they've grown around each other.
That they're just like more like family or something. Like
they've just grown up around each other, and it's like, yeah, that's girl, and yeah, that's Daniel, and then it's like wait,
oh, that's girl. Oh, that's Daniel.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's girl, and that's Daniel. Yeah, you just do your thing. That's like, no, I don't like Daniel. I've known Daniel for like ever, and I've never had any kind of feelings towards Daniel. And Daniel's like, I've known girls since I was like 7 when my mom started working with the Superdogs, and I've never felt anything towards her before. So no, I don't like girl. Like that makes no fucking sense. I've been.
I don't know. I'm trying to understand.
I think it kind of makes sense in this scenario because it's like it's something that's grown. They've been around each other. You brought up a good point. They've been around each other. So maybe not exactly like family, but in a sense, it's like I didn't have feelings for her before.
Yeah. So like, why now?
Because a lot of times when you're younger, crushes are instantaneous.
Yes.
Like
and totally illogical.
They're totally illogical, almost always superficial.
That you're just like, wow, that boy has really nice hair.
And so like you are attracted to them. Like
even though you don't know anything about them.
Nothing.
Oh my God, when I was a kid, I swear, like there was this one kid that I was like totally in love with, obsessed with. Apparently he's a Let's Player on YouTube now and has over 1 million subs. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But no, for real, like I was like absolutely in love with this kid. I didn't even know anything about him. And I never told him. To this day, I don't even think he knows.
He knows now.
He knows now. I guess. Maybe. But like, oh my god, it was ridiculous. It was like my friend that I hung out with a lot, her neighborhood was close to his neighborhood, and she was like, "Oh yeah, check it out. That's his house right there." I was like, it's like creepy obsession, like, but why? Why? Can I explain it? Absolutely not.
There's a lot like I did that kind of thing a lot where like I would like really fall for something like why?
You're just like infatuated.
Yeah, that's all it is.
And when you're a kid, it's not even like sexual or anything. It's just pure like you're just wow, this person is so like I'm just very interested in them. But yeah, I would get fucking choked up. I couldn't talk to him. I was like, like no. So never knew. Never said it. Not even as a teenager, like joked, oh my god, you wouldn't believe it. I was like totally obsessed with you in like 3rd grade. I can't admit that. Are you shitting me? But like that was like 3rd grade. You know, I was what, like 9 years old?
Yeah.
By the time you're 11, like I was like making out in movie theaters for the first time when I was 11.
Oh, I was not. 11?
Yeah.
No, that's way too early for that.
Maybe like 11, 12. I think I was in like 6th or 7th grade.
Well, 7th grade, you're 12 going 13.
Okay, 6th grade. My first boyfriend. Like the first boy I ever like kissed. Yeah. It's like, I don't know. I feel like by 11, you're past that stage.
You're definitely past that stage. I told girls that I liked them.
Yeah.
And stuff like we would go to like the skating rink and stuff on like every Friday and stuff
yeah,
like that.
Me
and, like,
too.
so like, you know, it was very much like I had a girlfriend. We broke up that summer between 5th and 6th grade. She's in my retro gaming group.
Wow.
Like I said, I'm still friends with her to this day. When I posted Smash Bros for sale, she's like, I just need to know if this is the same one that we played growing up. I was like, yeah.
Aww.
She's like, this is the one from your party? And I was like, yeah. Like
people still talk about that party?
Yeah.
Damn, babe, you had a fucking rager.
Can you imagine being like a 10, 11 years old
No,
and like
that's
going
amazing.
and like staying at another like yeah, and like a co-ed sleepover party?
Yeah.
Like yeah.
That's sick.
Like people that went to that party are they still like it was
like their baby's first big party.
It wasn't even a crazy party. We played like Smash Bros and like
dude, that's how I partied until I was like 19.
Like I'm just saying, like it wasn't even that crazy of a party, but it was just the fact that like we had a sleepover at like in like 5th fucking grade. Like
a lot of parents will not let you do that.
Oh, there's that, and then there was also like there was one parent that was like, I wasn't sure if it was a typo. And they're like, no, it's fine. Like, they're like, Henry's always had like a lot of girlfriends and different rooms were staying up with them. And parents like, okay. And like, and it was just like, yeah, I've always had a lot of like girlfriends. I just always have. Like, I grew up with 3 sisters and like, you know, and so.
For sure.
Explains a lot.
Yeah. I just remember it was like, you know, if my mom didn't let me have co-ed sleepovers, I just wouldn't have sleepovers. So it was like, and you know, I'm the only girl in this group of a bunch of guys, so it's like
I came out with my friend Keelan eventually. Like when we were a bit older, she was like 12 or 13, and like she was sleeping over with us and stuff like that. Because me, Raymond, Chase, Kyle, it was a bunch of guys and Keelan, and like I liked Keelan, and I guess she liked me, but like we didn't really. I made it apparent I liked her. She was a few years younger, so she was like, I don't know how to process this.
Right.
Much like this movie. So,
but they're the same age. There's no excuse. It's like, why are you guys weird?
Right.
Why are you weird about this?
So, Daniel lets the dogs out.
Who let the dogs out?
Daniel let the dogs out. So Daniel lets the dogs out, and then Lassie gets fucking ran over by a car.
Yeah, and what are those dogs called?
It's Lassie.
They're
Lassie gets ran over by a fucking car.
Dogs.
Lassie gets ran over by a fucking car, and then that guy's like, I'm sorry, she ran the road, I didn't mean to. And so girl holds it against Daniel. She's like, this is Daniel's fault because we know he's the one that let the dogs out because he's the only one that had access to all the dogs besides us.
To be fair, I feel her pain, man.
100%.
I would feel the same way. If someone let Fitzy out, I live right on a very busy
I got so
road.
mad at Raymond when my Boba got fell out.
That like if someone let Fitzy out when I was at home and she got hit by a car, I would absolutely resent that person.
Like the fact that I'm so fortunate that when Raymond accidentally let Boba out, he didn't bother fucking looking for her. And when I came home, she was like stuck on a tree. Mm-hmm. And I'm so lucky. Like Boba doesn't like I know that's why I know Boba doesn't like getting too high. Because she didn't get too high on the tree. She was like within arm's reach and she was like stuck. And like I got her down and brought her inside. And
maybe that's why her arms are so buff. She was just hanging there holding on like
for how long?
Yeah. She's ripped, dude.
She's a good cat.
Yes, I don't know. She's not in her tree. She must be on the bed.
Yeah, definitely on the bed. So Daniel lets the dogs out. Lassie dies. Girl cries.
Well, does Lassie die? I feel like Lassie gets hurt.
She's bleeding a lot.
But they never say that she dies. Like
they take her to do something.
They take her to the hospital.
And then like
I think she's just in like critical condition, but she's not dead. She's just hurt really bad.
And then like Daniel finds out that like the Jack Russell Terrier was returned by the Polish guy.
Yeah, because the Jack Russell Terrier was just like
too much.
Being a piece of shit.
He was too much for the Polish guy who wanted basically a lap dog.
Yeah, because the dog is just not very tameable. We've seen that. The dog is very hard to train.
So then they're like, we can train him now. So then they start trading the Jack Russell Terrier again, and he talks to Girl, and she's like, I understand what happened, and he's like, are you mad at me? She's like, I get it, like you're upset at a bunch of shit, like because like her mom and grandma or whatever the fuck were like, hey, yeah, Lassie got hit by a car. But Daniel's got a lot of shit going on. He doesn't know how to process. His dad's being a fucking jerk about it all.
Right.
So
we didn't even mention that while all this is going on, when the whole legal battle that, inevitably every dog movie has to have, the legal battle in this movie is that Daniel's dad is in real estate or construction,
and they're gonna get rid of the Superdog arena.
Yes, they're gonna tear it down and open up a fucking strip mall or something. And the grandma, Mrs. Longbottom, don't spit out your beer. Mrs. Longbottom obviously doesn't want the Superdogs arena to go away. I think it's very strange that, like, Daniel's dad is the one who's, like, involved in this project from the opposite side, considering the fact that, like, his wife was very involved with the Superdogs. You think that he would be on their side and being like, no, we shouldn't tear it down and build a strip mall. But for whatever reason, I just really wish they explained this. Give me one fucking line of dialogue. Tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
But basically, he's an architect. I don't fucking know.
It's something he has to do with the arena being demolished.
Yeah. And so, like, the first, like, every time he meets up with Mrs. Longbottom, she's trying to convince him, hey, don't tear down the arena. And he's like, I don't know, I gotta do it. It's part of my job or whatever. And I don't know.
I wonder if he's just like, no hurt feelings, Miss Longbottom. It's just business.
Yeah.
And she's like, I'm gonna go hungry and eat cat food if I don't have my arena. And like,
Grandma's gonna be eating kibble.
So they start training the dog, and
keep in mind by this point, we're like an hour into the fucking movie.
Yeah, this is
at least.
So then mom's best friend / girl's mom. See, it's so fucking confusing. Like, and Miss Longbottom like, oh, Daniel's here. I'll let you guys do your thing. And they talk, and she's like, yeah, I don't have hard feelings about it. I get it. And she kisses Daniel.
Yeah, they kiss. This was actually at Daniel's grandma's house.
That was Daniel's. I thought it was I thought that was Miss Longbottom's.
No, because Daniel was at his grandparents' house at this time. He was like quarantined from his friends.
Oh, you know what we didn't even mention? Like when like Daniel found his dad's like stash of stuff, and like it was like
we didn't even talk about that, and the whole fucking like knock on the heart. Oh my god. Yeah, like there's they go to. Well, wait a second, hold on. That was at Mrs. Longbottom's house.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
So is Mrs. Longbottom his dead wife's mom? Then that would make them cousins. That's weird.
Unless girl's mom / Daniel's mom's best friend merely works for Mrs. Longbottom at the arena.
Dude, I honestly don't fucking know.
It doesn't make sense.
I have no idea. They don't. And then we didn't even fucking mention that there's a black woman who's
black in this movie.
You don't remember the black woman who is Daniel's teacher, who also lives with Mrs. Longbottom and Daniel's mom's friend and calls them sister and mom.
I don't remember her at all.
Yes! She's like integral to the plot, dude.
Apparently not, because we've been getting by telling it without her.
But she's like, we didn't even mention her, dude. But she's involved. And like, we're like, well, hold on a second.
So like,
How is she her sister?
Oh my god.
Is she adopted? What's the logic here? They don't fucking explain any of it. You're just supposed to like walk along and watch the story and go along with it and not ask questions. Because there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where like the black woman is talking with Daniel's dad, and she mentions that like, they were talking about the old Polish guy that the kids thought was weird. And they're like, the black woman was like, well, I know what it's like to be seen as different, to be treated different. And the dad was like, oh, 'cause you're black? And then the woman like looks at her reflection in the car. She's like, oh, am I black? And it was pretty funny. But like, so like the movie acknowledges that like she's black. Okay, like we're aware that she's black. But could you maybe explain like how she's part of a family of white people? Like, am I supposed to just like assume, like, is she a half sibling? Because she's not like super dark skinned. But it's like, is she adopted? I don't know. Like, why can't you just take 2 fucking seconds to like slip something in? Like, you know? So, it's bad when I'm asking for exposition. You know? So Jesus Christ.
There's a point when
throw me a bone here.
There's a milk bone.
Throw me a milk bone.
So there's like a part where there's some awkward ass editing. I don't remember what the scene came after, but like all of a sudden they're in the car and Daniel's like looking through his dad's like old photos, like,
yes,
who's that? He's like,
who's she?
Pauline, my first girlfriend.
She looks kind of homely.
To me, she was the most beautiful girl in the world.
What's the magical formula again? Ickery, ackery, ookery, and?
Open sesame, I'm the man.
Did you make that up?
I don't know, I can't remember.
Open Sesame 1, 2, 3.
Bippity boppity boop.
It's something super generic. But I'm like, open what? Like, you're talking about a girl right now. Let's be fucking real. Like if you're dealing with like contextual, like following conversation, like what, Daniel, what are you trying to open with magic words?
Are you getting at? Like, are you talking about like opening legs?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
What are you talking about here?
Like, I was like, Daniel.
And it's this like recurring little like mantra that they say to each other.
Which makes no fucking sense. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't understand what the fuck they're opening still. So anyway, we were towards the end of the movie. Then we just had to whip way back to that fucking scene. That was early on in the movie. So then they were like having a picnic, right? And like the Jack Russell Terrier is like derping around with Fat, Asian, and Daniel. And Daniel's like grandma and grandpa. And then they're like, your girlfriend. And then Asian's like, don't say girlfriend, Fat. You know that he's gonna be like, she's not my girlfriend.
But then
and then they look at him and there's like an awkward silence. And then Daniel's like, I didn't say anything. And they're like, whoa!
Like, Daniel, what do you mean? And he's like,
we kissed. Which again doesn't make you a girlfriend.
And they were like,
what was it like? What did it feel like?
Like bags of sand. No, what does he say? Better than fudge?
Yeah. I know. We were like, what the fuck does that even mean?
What does it feel like to kiss me?
It's better than fudge.
It's better than fudge.
So, but then, like, after Daniel goes to, like, play with the fucking Jack Russell Terrier some more, like, Asian and the Fat are like, what the fuck does that mean? Better than fudge? Like, which I'm glad they asked, because, like, we were like, what the fuck does that even mean? And we were like, and we like a stupid, like, I was like, did they watch American Pie? And they're like warm apple pie. We're like, we need to make that, but like, you know, for kids. Well, how can we make this
American Pie existed at this time.
It did.
So we were like, we're the writers kind of like
we're gonna
slipping in a subtle reference,
or like, you know, we're the writers like, that's a great euphemism. Like, I'll be real right now. It is a bit like warm apple pie.
We have discussed American Pie on the podcast before.
I don't recall.
We did. Remember, Amy came in and told us about the fact that
God damn it,
that American Pie is actually
like 20 fucking movies.
Yeah.
So
unbelievable.
But like, you know, that's a great euphemism. It's
Canadian Pie.
It's like something with maple. Like,
why haven't they done that yet?
Why
as Canadian, I'd be like, let's fucking go.
Let's go.
Canadian Pie.
Canadian Pie. And you just do a parody of like the raunchy American comedy.
Amazing, dude. Someone pay me for that fucking idea. That's gold. I've had 3 beers and
what's a Canadian instrument? One time at banking, we put my French horn up my pussy, like
my French Canadian horn.
Fucking.
I don't know. Instruments are all just kind of like European.
They are,
much.
Like, especially like fucking, you know, brass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fucking woodlands. Anyway. So
we're drinking, folks. We're having a good time.
I'm not usually drunk on the podcast, but I am this week. So,
dude, Henry, you deserve it. Like, you got through finals, and this is like the first weekend we can actually like.
I only got a 3.8 this quarter.
Only a 3.8. He's an Asian, not a Bijan.
This is true. Steal my fucking joke.
Yep.
So
stealing something from an Asian, I'm white. That's what I'm supposed to do.
But like,
it's in my blood.
You know, it's still an A.
Exactly. You're doing great, hon. You're doing great.
Yeah, but am I still on honor roll? I don't know.
You're an honor roll in my heart.
I was graduated my last degree. I didn't even realize it till afterwards. I was fucking on the fucking president's list. I was like, oh,
wow.
All right.
You don't. Hell yeah.
But,
so we're just like, we're having a good time this weekend. We're celebrating. But also we kind of have to like numb the pain of talking about
this goddamn movie.
This goddamn movie.
I hate dog movies more than I ever did before, for the record. Like, This has made me hate dog movies.
Really?
I didn't like dog movies, but now I fucking hate dog movies.
Wow.
There's no good ones.
Canine was good.
No. Canine wasn't actually good. It was just wasn't bad.
Blasphemy! I've been like kind of today when you were at work and I was here by myself, I was thinking about sneaking your Canine VHS and like taking it home with me because I've been wanting to watch it again so bad.
You're silly. Even though it's available on like Netflix.
It is not.
We watched it at your house streaming. So after they kiss and they go to the fucking picnic. They have a picnic with all his friends and he drops the bomb that he lost his V card in Canada.
What the fuck?
Canadian V card. I don't know.
20 minutes later.
They go to the picnic.
They go to the picnic. He says it's like fudge. And then
It's better than
it's
fudge.
better than fudge. Which fair.
Fair. I mean, fudge is good, but
I'm not a chocolate guy.
no, me neither. It's too rich.
Yeah.
We've discussed this on the podcast as well.
I don't like. I'm very much a vanilla person. I will fight
Yes.
anyone that says vanilla is plain. I have so many things to say about
We
vanilla.
got ice cream last night.
We did.
We went to this local ice cream place.
After we ran a 5K. We're like, we need to treat ourselves.
Yes. And you got like a raspberry
ribbon.
delicious.
Yes.
And then I got like a blackberry cheesecake.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And
Did-
like homemade waffle cones.
Yeah, we went to a
Delicious.
local spot here in Seattle.
Yes. So good.
Everything, all the ice cream there is made like in house. We're like,
Yeah.
we could go to Menchie's and get froyo so we can be health conscious since we just did a 5K, or we can go to this local place and get home handmade ice cream.
Hell yeah. When in Rome. When in Seattle, you go to the local hipster place. Just that's what you do.
The
That's the
term
way
is
to do it.
artisanal.
Oh, okay. 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 That's the way to do it.
So anyway,
This movie. What
so-
happens after the picnic? Is this why we keep diverging?
So after the picnic is when they go to the final Superdog show.
Okay.
And we see another Superdog show. We got the Superdog announcer, and we see the Jack Russell Terrier and Daniel and Girl, and they're like, okay, here we go. And we see the dog perform. And then at the end of it, we see the Borzoi come home.
Mm-hmm. Wolf finds his way home in true homeward bound fashion.
So here's a fun story.
We're saving you a drunken 10-minute long anecdote about Henry's mom letting his dog go when he was at school, only for the dog to beat his mom back to the house.
So like then we get that's the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, the final Superdog show.
We get more footage of the Superdog
and
show.
the Jack Russell Terrier does really good.
And the Borzoi comes home.
And then everyone lived happily ever after.
Except the mom.
Except the mom, she died.
So like
Yes,
that's the movie.
this movie fucking sucked.
This
I was like, there was times when
the
you were-
movie is strangely compelling.
yeah, like you were like, I don't want to watch this, or like you had schoolwork to do or
I
something,
was
and
I was
you're like, I
occupied.
gotta go work on shit. But I was like, hold on, I want to keep watching this movie. Like I was a little intrigued by it because it wasn't what I expected.
There's so much melodrama and there's so much you're like, wait, what? There's so many interpersonal like connected issues.
And they don't really explain them, and so I'm kind of like watching, hoping that they will kind of like, you know, flesh out a bigger picture, but they never really do. So I'm like, the fuck is going on here?
So the Superdogs, we were expecting superior dogs, and instead what we got was a dog and pony show without the ponies. And
Yeah. There was, so if you go on don't know if it's IMDb or whatever, but like you can search the there's like a dog movie tag and you can see like dog movies and they're all ranked. Turner and Hooch is number 3, which is like if that's the number 3 best dog movie, we're in trouble, okay? But like number 2 is a movie called Best in Show, which was much later than VHS era. I want to say it was like 2018 or something like that. It's a much more recent movie, but it's kind of like a mockumentary style movie about dog show dogs. So, I mean, apparently movies about dog show dogs can, attract an audience and be, well-renowned. Babe, can you stop checking chicks out for 5 seconds?
This
okay?
is girl.
Uh-huh.
She's the voice of Caillou.
Caillou?
Caillou.
No.
After the original actor for Caillou fucking died in a car crash.
Holy shit.
That's what that face I was making was.
Oh, I thought you were just like checking her out or something.
No, I'm looking up. Well, first of all, her last name's very similar to mine. But second of all,
Beauvert. Huh.
But second of all, like, she took over the title character of Caillou after the previous voice actress, Jacqueline Lanetsky, died in a car crash.
It's the Caillou curse. Wow. But yeah. So apparently people like to see dog show dogs, but maybe in a little more of a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. They don't really want to see them in like a serious, maybe in like a more serious way. Daniel and the Superdogs was not a movie about super dogs. The dogs barely played any part. The dog show was extremely insignificant. It was more about a grieving child.
Yeah.
And no one really wants to fucking watch that. I'm sorry. This movie has, let's see, here is the only review on Letterboxd by someone named Dan Cronin. 2 stars. My mother is in therapy. I will never smile again. The sun will never shine as bright because this movie has made it impossible to feel joy in my life anymore. I liked the Borzoi, though.
I mean, sure.
Yeah, I mean, Wolf found his way home. Wolf is a smart dog. He's a creepy looking dog, but I mean,
why did he get shot at?
We'll never know. We'll never know. There's a lot of unanswered questions after watching this, but that kind of makes it strangely compelling. So in a way, do I hate Daniel and the Superdogs? No. I kind of have some strange, unexplainable fondness for it.
It was interesting. It just wasn't what you're expecting.
No, I was not expecting it at all. But no, I didn't hate it.
It's not.
I didn't hate it at
it's
all.
not. It's not. It's not hateable.
No. We've definitely watched hateable movies on here. We've watched movies that have made us very angry.
I've watched movies I want to destroy, like Jane Doe.
Yeah.
I've watched movies that made me stalk the owner. I've watched movies where I have ended up stalking the goddamn director to find out who the fuck is responsible for this goddamn atrocity.
Like Jane Doe.
Like Jane Doe.
Jane Doe made us very mad.
Jane Doe took us 3 or 4 times to record an episode because I just ended up going off on a tangent and raging.
Earlier in the podcast, there's one of our like pre-Jane Doe episodes where I said something along the lines of like, this didn't make me mad to the point where like I hate something so much it makes me mad. And you asked me for an example of a movie that does that for me. And I couldn't come up with an exact example. But then we watched Jane Doe. And ever since then, we've used Jane Doe as like the poster child example of a movie that's so bad it makes us angry.
It really did make me angry. I don't
Yeah.
usually get. I don't. It does takes a lot to get me angry. I feel like I'm not a very angry person.
Me neither.
I used to not be. I used to be very angry, but I've learned a lot. But Jane Doe brings it all right back. Throws all that work out the window.
And like last episode or the episode before, I mentioned that we always end up talking about it because we're traumatized by it and we need
I have fucking PTSD from Jane Doe.
Yeah, fuck that movie. But like, so whenever we talk about a movie and like how it makes us feel, inevitably that's kind of like our extreme on the negative end that we compare it to. And I think that like when we compare something like Daniel and the Superdogs to Jane Doe, it doesn't make me mad. There's nothing about it that makes me really mad. Maybe the whole like your mom died and you can't have your dog either. That made me mad, but not that mad. It was melodramatic and I wasn't expecting that. But once I kind of got over that, I was like, you know what? I kind of care for these characters. I want to see what happens. The dogs don't really play that much of a part, which is really unfortunate because
I wanted more dogs.
Yeah, the way that they advertise it is very much like dog centric. But
on the box, we get there's 3 dogs on the box, and only 33% of the dogs shown on the box actually have a name. And that's not even talking about the back of the box where you see even more fucking dogs.
Right.
And like
the dogs are front and center.
Like that's the dead dog. That's the Lassie
dog that got hit by.
And then we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 other dogs that have no name. And then we have the Borzoi.
Oh, we forgot to mention like the legal battle. They get enough signatures on the petition that the Superdogs arena stays open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no conflict.
No. So think about it this way. Air Bud was a dog movie with melodrama added to it. Daniel and the Superdogs is a melodrama movie with dog elements added to it. So it's kind of like
it's a melodrama. Opposite. They were like, we need to make it Canadian, and so they throw on 2 minutes of Superdogs.
Yeah. So and I mean, the Superdogs show that they actually show kind of sucks because it shows them all doing the same exact thing. They don't vary up the course or anything. It's like they're all doing the same fucking tricks and going through the same course. Who the fuck
makes their dogs do these things anyway? Like,
dude, I don't know. It's like
just let your dog exist.
It's like child pageants, like child beauty pageants.
Which I think is also fucked up.
Exactly. But like with dogs, that it's like you're just using something that you view as like below you and exploiting it to like make yourself feel better. Daniel and the Superdogs. Did I like it? No. Did I hate it? No. It's in this kind of like gray area.
It was just compelling for the wrong reasons.
Yes. Would I watch it again? Maybe. I would. The only reason I would watch Daniel and the Superdogs again is to maybe try to pick up on like one little line of dialogue where maybe they explain some things that I don't quite understand, but that does open me up to a lot of like disappointment. That
I just want to know how everyone's like related. Like I think there's probably like one line of dialogue we slept through where they were like, and this is the mom's cousin's best friend.
Yeah, or something, dude. Something. Give me something. That like I don't know. Like I kind of like it.
So this movie was it was something.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think that does about wrap it up for Magic Dogs, which was very disappointing.
Yeah. My Magic Dog, you know, fine.
Oh yeah, I guess we gotta choose a winner. Yeah, I guess My Magic Dog is the more coherent film out of the two of them.
But man, when I think about what movie do I want to watch,
that's just because we got more questions because it wasn't a good movie enough the first time.
I mean, But okay. Who's the better dog?
Oh God.
Who's the top dog?
Well, for the record, we don't see the magic dog.
Yeah, we do.
Most
Lucky?
Most of the time we don't because he's invisible.
No. When we see it through Toby's perspective, we do see him.
I think he's a better dog.
You think so?
The Borzoi almost got shot doing nothing. Like
The Borzoi is creepy looking, but he's very smart. He finds his way home.
so did my dog, and like I just told you, my dog wasn't very smart.
And then the Jack Russell Terrier just never, I mean, he technically redeems himself, but like, we're so far removed from him for most of the movie that it's like,
'cause,
I don't
half
give
the
a
movie is
shit.
with the Polish guy.
Yeah. That like, Wolf is, I would say like in Daniel and the Superdogs, Wolf is the dog that's shown the most. He has a character arc.
Wolf is shown the most, and even still, that's barely at all.
Yeah.
So
Does Lucky win by default?
Lucky wins by default.
It's really hard for me. It's really hard for me because like,
Okay, Daniel and the Superdogs is barely about the Superdogs.
yeah.
It's about Daniel and like his dead mom and girl. And his stupid dad.
Which dog is the better actor?
Lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt, because like the other dogs didn't act.
Wolf just like walks.
Yeah, they're like, go here.
Well, Wolf can like jump and shit.
That's not acting. Lucky could act. Carry this. Go here and like do this.
That's really fucking hard. That's really hard.
Lucky was an actor. I say was because he's probably dead now.
Shit. I mean, there's no Wikipedia article, so I don't know.
Well, what year was the movie made?
My Magic Dog?
Yeah.
97.
Oh, that dog's dead. Like,
Holy shit.
the dog's almost 30 years old.
Yeah?
It's 25.
Mm-hmm.
Or 24.
Yeah.
The dog's dead.
Shit.
I'm gonna go hug my cat after this.
Fuck, man.
My magic dog wins to me.
Yeah?
So, out of the stupid fucking dog movies we watched this week, my magic dog wins by a long shot. And that puts us next week, the final week of Dawgust.
Yes.
Because next week, our episode is going up on almost the last day of August.
Mhm.
I almost call it Dawgust.
It is Dawgust.
Next week, our
Because
last
we say so.
our last episode goes up on the second last day of August, depending on when I edit it.
Mhm.
And that's when we're going to go over who is the top dog of our dogs, because we have our top cop dog, our top sports dog,
Mhm.
our top magic dog,
Yes.
and which of those is the definitive dog movie to watch.
Right. So,
That's next week.
man, it's tough, but we'll give it to Lucky. We'll give it to Lucky for my magic dog, and then next week, join us for the finals where we discuss the top dog, the dog of all dog movies on VHS.
I wanted this to be more of a bracket, but we ended up not making as much of a bracket as
It's Dawgust, and we do whatever the fuck we want. So
the dog eat dog world.
exactly. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Visit our website, VHSaturday.com. Join our mailing list to get all updates of VH Saturday. We still have stickers available. If you're interested, please send us a DM on any of our social media platforms. And we will see you next week. But until then, remember,
Be kind, rewind.